whenever
All
Shweta
right.
says.
I'll give you the countdown. Hindustan Times, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi friends, I am Sweta Kaushal and today we are in conversation with Richa Chadha. A very warm welcome, Richa. How are you?
Hi Shweta, how are you? Nice to see you after so long.
Been long, yeah. So, all excited, geared up for the release of Candy.
Yeah, I'm really quite excited. This is only my second web series after or original series after Inside Edge. So it's been a while, and I really enjoyed this story. It really spoke to me. So I'm quite looking forward to it. It's kind of a new genre for me, also a new role for me, also, and I don't think anything like this even exists in India, like in terms of all the contemporary series that we are getting to watch. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, this would be your first crime thriller sort of subject, right?
Yeah, it is my first crime thriller horror genre subject. Yeah.
You like watching such films.
I love watching that. I mean, that's almost my favorite genre to watch is either true crime or like in this surreal horror meets thriller space. It just, I mean, I don't like gore. That's the only thing. But the rest, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed working on this and I enjoy watching these things also.
So, you said when you heard the story, you loved it, but do you want to pinpoint on something that really got you on?
I just there's everything has a vibe. So the vibe on this one was quite interesting. Like the two writers were the ones who narrated to me, and they were the ones who were sort of explaining their intent behind what they had written and why they had written what they had. Uh, so in this case, apart from the fact that it was going to be shot in really beautiful hills, and it was like, there's a certain mystery to the hills and certain mist and a certain like fog in which crimes are committed in the jungle, and it merged with this urban legend of this demon in the forest. But well, is he a real demon? Do logical people also agree that it's some kind of supernatural entity and not a very perverse human being? And then the crimes start happening around the kids of the school, the kids who go to the famous boarding school in that hill station. And then this woman uh, who's a single mom, there is some past there. She has a toddler. She's sent there on a punishment posting. So she's kind of jaded. She's kind of out of it till this school teacher comes and starts talking to her and telling her like you have to help me out, and kids are dying, and she doesn't believe him. And then well, something happens. So well, on superficially the show is very much about like um you know drugs in a high school and kids in a hostel being naughty kids, and this woman trying to not really caring, being chill, and trying to solve it in her own laid back sort of cop way. uh, but I think the subtext of it really is about parenting and about father figures, and I think that's something everyone struggles with. Sometimes entire countries struggle with it. So I that's for that reason I thought it was quite cool, interesting.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I read that you met female cops while preparing for your role. Do you want to take us through the kind of mental and physical preparation that went into making of this character?
See, mentally the prep was very. I mean, there was no prep. There was just it just had to be an understanding of what their real lives are like the de-glamorized real version of their lives, which we don't really get to see on screen, at least not in the commercial space. The pressures they have as women working both inside the house and outside, how still a large part of their domestic responsibilities falls on their shoulders. There were some women I spoke to who were cops, and their husbands were also cops. But even though they both had the shared sort of responsibility of the house, and uh, uh, still when things would go wrong, like I would see the women making the calls for the house about the kids having to be picked up from school, or PTA meetings, or what's being done for dinner, and is the in-laws sugar stable, and things like, so very normal women, householder women, they seem like. And then they step out of the house, they have a gun, they have a holster, they have a uniform with like this bit of a stiff fabric, and they have to, it sort of automatically corrects your posture, and all that was quite interesting for me to watch at close quarters. The everydayness of their, I mean, they're not squeamish about seeing a dead body. um, they are not bothered about going into a morgue at night. There's no fear of ghosts and all. I'm not generalizing. By and large, it becomes very like routine work, and how they deal with the press, how they deal with locals, and particularly I mean, especially in this time, even if you see in and around Bombay, like the stalls that they've put up for COVID, monitoring people during COVID, especially during lockdowns, uh, like the, there's always two men and one woman manning that booth. And what happens thereon, and how they divide responsibilities, and how something just becomes like a default woman's job. So those things were quite eye-opening, just to have conversations with them, just to observe them. And I hope I've been able to bring some of that to this part. Is Shweta frozen, or can she not hear me?
Her screen's
God.
frozen, I
Is
think.
there a network issue?
Hi,
Yeah.
you're back. We thought you were frozen. Sorry.
Oh, I couldn't see anyone.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can now hear you.
No, did you hear my answer? I went on and on.
For last, I think 10-15 seconds, I couldn't hear you. I couldn't see
All
you.
right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I just said that it was quite an eye opener to just get to hang out with them, and to figure out how is it that they straddle both lives, and how they sort of get by, and make it work inside the house and outside.
So, your role, your character, and Candy shows both sides of their story, and not just the professional side.
Yeah, it shows both sides. She has quite a bit of a struggle in her personal life. She also has a past. Like I said, there's this kind of punishment posting that she's been sent on to the small hilly town. Uh, and the thing is, uh, in this show, uh, I'm playing a DSP, so she is of a significantly higher rank. A DSP makes more money, has a certain amount of perks with the government house and those things. So, I mean, in that sense, even in the show, I'm far more privileged than some of the women I got to study for the role. But there is definitely that aspect of her struggling to cope with her personal life, and her struggling with guilt of parenting, and just being there, paying attention, and things like that.
And as you mentioned, the shooting was in Nainital.
Yeah,
How was the experience?
really cold. For the most part, we went in the winter. But I have to say, I was it was predicted that it would snow a few times. But not only was the onset of snow late, it didn't snow like it usually does. So it snowed much later. And in fact, to shoot the heavy snow parts, we then had to fly to Manali, we had to go back and then come back to Manali. So I mean, it is very disheartening to say, but the effects of climate change were visible in a very obvious way. So that's really sad. Uh, but yeah, we shot in Nainital, beautiful belt, as you know. We shot around Nainital, Bhimtal, Sattal, Bhuwali, Nokuchiatal, Ramgarh. All we were spread out. We were shooting sometimes multiple units because there was a lot to be done. But overall, yeah, I mean, I vibed very well with the writers, with the DOP Faraz, with the director. So it was a fun shoot.
What kind of learning experience would you say working on the project was?
First, to learn to shoot in so much winter, uh, being able to deliver dialogues without your teeth chattering, being like trying to cover your lips with some lipstick because they've gradually turned blue. Those things were huge learning experiences. And also, like, uh, there are points in the script which discuss like issues of mob mentality and sort of this morality and justice and this idea of how what happens when very sane normal people give in to their completely base sides and what we do as communities. So there's a bit of that also. I think the learning would be that in the Indian setup, a woman is a woman is a woman. It doesn't matter if she's a cop or a Supreme Court judge, but so first she's a woman, and yeah,
But is that a new learning that you had?
I'm honestly a little bit surprised. Growing up, a lot of people. I mean, of course, one has to discuss fallen heroes, but growing up, when we thought of a female cop, we thought of someone like Kiran Bedi, who's just like with short hair and wants to is quite firm and decisive and has leadership things. So this is yeah, it was a new learning. I would say I didn't expect this.
Like earlier, you were either a career-oriented woman or a family woman.
Yeah,
In that aspect,
yeah. I mean that is and today I mean people talk about how hard it is for women, how women have more freedom, and how hard it was for them back then. I think that it is still incredibly hard and harder because they do still have to take care of the house and be completely clued in into the God help you if you have children. I mean, to be completely clued in and then figure out PTA meetings and school projects, and all the time you have to balance your own ambition. In general, I feel like
a minute.
sorry.
I need a minute, please. Just a minute. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No worries. Uh, so I don't know what are you talking about. Yeah, I'm saying it's still now women have to also like look like career ladies, business ladies, be in tip top shape, be well turned out, work and you know work at home. Also, like the mental pressure of running a household, even if you have help in India, thankfully we are fortunate that it's a labor intensive economy and everyone needs jobs, but um, just stocking up supplies, groceries, taking care of everything is a lot. So yeah.
Richa, being vocal about your views and being trolled for it is not something new for you.
Yeah,
How do you think things have changed over past few years?
actually, the question about trolling is very dull because almost I get asked it at almost every second interview, and my views never change. The thing is, if it's a bot, what is a bot? A bot is just like a sort of algorithm, a very sophisticated algorithm that will mimic a real person's language. There's usually no photo, no name, no bio, no nothing. So I just feel I can't take that seriously. And it's what, like 50 paise or 2 rupees per tweet. That just find it's just organized trolling to intimidate and silence people, and I see through it. It doesn't ruffle me all, at all. And I don't know if it's changed or not. I just think that everyone has gotten into the game because they realize how easy it is to create a fake identity on the internet, and that's it. People who wouldn't be able to come and talk to you face to face in person or make eye contact have, you know, they just sitting in their villages typing abuses to you that really shouldn't affect anybody. I don't know why it affects people so much. They should just get it's
Perhaps because the way social media has become a major part of our lives,
yeah.
you
See, but
tend
that's
to
also a
think
choice. No, that is a choice. You have to exercise some maturity there. That is a choice. I'm an actor, uh, and I have only been on any kind of social media since I had fame. So I don't know. I think I'd probably be much more vocal and rabid, militant, perhaps if I wasn't somebody who was a quote unquote celebrity. Having said that, I think it's really truly destroying, and I'm not going to say our culture. I'm going to say, हाँ, एक second. आप खाओ आराम से. Bye. Sorry. I'm not, I don't think it's destroying Indian culture or whatever, but I do think that there's going to be an explosion that Indians are not going to be able to cope up with because data is free. Free data was handed out to most of the country. Everyone, the penetration of mobiles and mobile networks increased, and there are things like free porn in a country where there is no sex education, where we are very squeamish about it, despite our population, where Facebook, Twitter, like 7-year-olds have Instagram accounts, so constantly checking how many likes they got, how many people followed them, and that kind of validation, if it comes starts to come from a device. In any case, in urban centers, everything is on your device. Your details, your data, your phone, your food order, your banking, everything is here. And with COVID, I don't know how much human beings will be able to interact with one another, how much they'll be able to touch one another or hug one another without feeling like the kids of today who are between 5 and 15 are so fluent with apps. They're being taught coding in school. We'll just have cyborgs, I think, uh, who will take a while to understand empathy. And that worries me. It's a civilizational, there will be a civilizational decline because the reading will perhaps stop. People will stop reading the written word. They'll switch to audiobooks. I mean, of course, the ones who will be truly successful would have read in entire encyclopedias, but the fact is that it's changing our society in ways that we wouldn't have previously understood. I don't think we've seen the full impact of these things, and they're gradually unfolding in our lifetime. And even if these sites, these mega data sites, were started with good intentions, the unintentional outcomes and consequences of these things are going to be difficult for us to sort of manage as a society.
So we'll need to end here now. Please, last question.
Yeah, sure. Richa, mutual respect is an important aspect of any relationship. Do you want to talk about what makes you respect Ali and how does he make you feel special?
Uh, we are really good friends, but we are really thick as friends, and we started like that. We started with conversations about literature, about theater, about our common passions in music and poetry. So our base is very strong like that. And I think we cherish the same values. Because of which, when now we start living together, there's no unnecessary burden on me alone to be taking care of the house or household things or dealing with the carpenter or the plumber or the cook. We manage that quite well. We've had one lockdown since we moved in together, and we divided the chores of the house, and we definitely give each other space uh, between our work. We so I mean, in that sense, I mean, I don't think he has to do anything special for me, but his daily living is quite like it's a very egalitarian household. So it really does feel like, it's not a space where, like the previous generations, where the woman would just have to adjust, or, it's not one of those. And he cooks wonderfully. He keeps house wonderfully. He's become a good cat parent. So those things matter to me, and I think that I too, when I know that he has a lot of work, then I'll make sure that if he has any special dietary needs, or if he needs something got, or if he needs a courier sent, basically we are there for each other in a very complete sense, which is not always on Instagram. But I mean, it's just a really fulfilling, like lovely, deep relationship. And I do feel like in this like shitty cesspool, it's nothing short of a miracle to find somebody who is so great. Hey, I'm talking about you. Are you going out? Oh, all right, okay. No, no, I was in an interview. Oh shit, sorry. Hi. Yeah, say hi.
Hi.